Okay, there's a difference of opinion between the Path of the Anointed and Brianna for Christ. They both recently made a video on the same subject with diametrically opposed opinions. First, I saw the Anointed, Path of the Anointed, and it really irritated me because, I've known this, that he's completely wrong my entire life, ever since I entered parochial school in the 6th grade. But he says, for sure, without a doubt, if you are getting any demonic attacks, like he had one the night before he made this video where there was actually black shadows flying all across his room. And I've had stuff like that happen. Believe me, it is very upsetting, very disheartening, very overwhelming. You won't get back to sleep that night, that's for sure. But he said he really prayed on it, and God told him straight out, it's because you're chastised. And then you're being chastised and disciplined. And then he quoted a bunch of scripture to back him up. It's not the case at all. That's like what Job's friends said to him, that this has to be your fault. With all of these atrocities taking place in your life, this is obviously very clearly your fault. And that's not the case. If you're fully submitted and you're doing all the things you should be doing as a good Christian, a good Catholic, that's not the case at all. But he's convinced, and he says, I don't look anything like I did 2 months ago. I don't look like I used to. I don't talk like it. I don't walk like I used to just 2 months ago. And not to, badmouth him, but I think a bit of pride is seeping in because his channel's blown up and he's got a love interest that he's, head over heels for. And so he thinks he's just being blessed because he's doing everything right. We never get everything right. But he's talking about how he can cast demons out, how when he meets someone, he can tell immediately if they're a chosen one or not by just looking at them. And he's really, I think, allowing, which we can all do, allowing a little bit too much pride to settle in. It's just the Lord that works through us. So anything that we are able to do good, I'll praise the Most High. It's not really us that we should be taking, attributing it to. It's the good Lord's gifts. It's the good Lord, even if it's a true ability of yours that you've had your whole life, like let's say, very rational, very intelligent. That's a gift from the Lord. That's why I always love the baseball players, that when they hit home runs right before they cross home plate, they pound their chest twice and they point up. It's like, you're the one that gave me this. Even if I had a really good work ethic and I've been very disciplined, you are the one that gave me the parents that taught me this discipline and this ability to have a good work ethic because I saw it in them. So really, we should take credit for nothing. And if he is being chastised, I think it would be due to pride more than anything. And he admits to that. He thinks he's being chastised for pride. So I'm not really calling him out. This is what he says about himself. But it's not always for... just right now, I was taking a bath before I'm going into confession and church. It's Monday. I like to go on Mondays. And my dog just knocked my cell phone into the bathtub. And it's because he's pacing back and forth. He's almost 15. He's riddled with arthritis. And I just finished a long walk with him. His second walk of the day. By 10 o'clock, he already had 2 long walks. He had his breakfast. He should be settling down for a nap. But I get entities in the room. And I don't even feel them most of the time. But my dog will stare at the corner of the room. And then and his jaw starts going like he's got really, really cold. When your jaw starts going uncontrollably like that when you're freezing to death. He's going into a state of shock. And there's no reason why he should be anxious or neurotic. Animals are very, very sensitive to the spiritual realm, just like children. And so, I had it plugged in and it was out of the way. but he tried to squeeze because there's only so much room to pace when he wants to be by me in the bathroom and I'm in the bathtub. He almost wanted to jump into the bathtub with me. That's how weirded out he is. And but the cord was in between. The toilet was over the top of the toilet and to the phone that was sitting on the edge of the bathtub. He actually tried to squeeze in between the toilet and the bathtub, which is like less than a foot. And because he did that, it lifted up the cord, which then caused the phone to slip into the bathtub. And I'm thinking about confessing that I got pretty mad at my dog this morning. And I got mad, kind of upset with him the other night, because it's like, I can only pray so much for this entity to leave. Ozzy, that's his name. I'm doing my best, you know. You need to calm down, though. This thing can't do anything to you, you know. But just to jump onto a side note, so often he gets these nightmares, my dog. And I pray, take it from him, because he's sinless. And if this is a demonically influenced nightmare he's having, give it to me tonight when I fall asleep. Because I'm a sinner, I deserve it, whereas he is sinless. And bam, he always stops, the dream stops immediately. So this stuff is so real, you know, and people just can't really grasp it. But, you know, I hate to always refer to Catholic saints because I know most of my subs aren't Catholics, but it's a shame because, you know, people that are non-denominational, born again, Presbyterian, Protestant, over the course of, you know, 1,348 years, something like that, of Christianity is just totally neglected from them. And you can learn so much from what these really, really holy people were going through back then. And so many, St. John Chrysostom, St. John Vianney, the Desert Fathers, you know, so many of these, St. Gemma Galgani, so many, I could go on and on and on. So many of these saints were just, St. Padre Pio was literally beat up in his bed several times by Satan, to where he'd come out in the morning with a black eye and he'd be yelling at his guardian angel. So, you know, it's not always for chastisement. Sometimes it's just the good Lord allows you to do it. So I'm going to